Morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Wow, very different start to the quarter than Q1 start. Remember, we're coming into the year January 1st, 2020, looking for a great year, kind of everything teed up. We were a little nervous, heading into the election, right? It's kind of what we talked about in January. Wow, what a difference 90-day makes. What I really want to talk about today is, I think without question, Q2 of 2020 is going to probably be the most, I want to say, exciting. Some may say stressful, some may say interesting quarter of our investing career. And if you're in my age group, that's at least interesting in hindsight, right? Because we had the great .com tech wreck, right? That was interesting. Buenos dias. We had the 9/11 kind of shutdown of America for a couple of weeks. We had the Great Recession. We had the return right to the bull market, the longest bull market ever, I think 12 years or so. So thinking about all of that, and yet calling Q2 of 2020 as the most exciting is interesting. And I think it's interesting because we see what's coming. And I've been talking about it for weeks. We have horrible, horrible numbers coming. But it's kind of a once in a lifetime thing, at least hopefully, knock on wood, right? Let's hope this is once in a lifetime. We've asked the service sector to stay home. I saw something today, and I have not independently verified it, but again, it's out there, that we have roughly 75% of American citizens under some kind of social distancing, or if you're in California, New York, stay at home, and about 90% of our GDP. Right, we've asked most of America to stay home, not work, right? Most. And to think about how that ripples through our economy is, there'd be plenty of unintended consequences, right? We're attacking this health event, flattening the curve, whatever you want to call it. And you can't do that and keep a consumer-based economy going. So it's going to be interesting, and it's going to get scary before it gets better. I've been trying to tell you it's coming, so you're aware and you're not shocked or spooked or fearful. But also, I think, at least in the stock market, at some point in Q2, we're going to start to see an aggressive return. I think this latest rally is a trap, a bear, dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it. I have no faith in it. We're going to test the lows, and I suspect go lower. Yeah, I totally agree. The America is shut down, and we are the biggest consumer. So yeah, it's going to affect the world. So I think at some point it's going to come back, right? The stock market will return before the consumers. So I think Q2 is going to be exciting. It's going to be one we learn from. You're going to certainly learn how emotional you are with stocks, if that's where you play. I am terrible at it, hence I won't get in. I have told you a couple of times, if the market went down 50%, I might nibble, but I won't even bother looking at stocks until it's 50% below the past peak, as I have abilities to kind of invest elsewhere, and I'm okay with that. So I do think Q2 is going to be interesting. Let me know what you're thinking about doing. I'd love to hear from you. Lots of stuff to talk about today. There was a billionaire yesterday. I don't know if you saw this. Howard Marks. Never heard of him. It's amazing how many billionaires I've never heard of. But anyways, he came out and started talking about, you know what? The average investor, it's time to buy stocks. I read the article. I actually read it twice. And all I can think of is, wow, this guy's another Bill Ackman. He's talking his book, and he's trying to get us to help him, right? So as call me, I don't know what you want to, cynical, I guess. After Bill Ackman's, Hilton's going to zero call, and him profiting a couple of $1 billion off of that, which I still think is sick and disgusting. But I don't believe any of these guys, right? Howard Marks is talking about buying stocks because he's in pain, right? He is, I don't know. I guess he was betting the upside and he's getting crushed. So I don't believe any of these guys. Uh, Additionally, Q1 is over, right? We've just started Q2. Rent's due today, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes in the next couple of weeks. Q1 was the worst on record, right? We're going to hear that a bunch lately. I think you'll see the same for Q2. And then you're going to start seeing, wow, Q3 was the best ever. Q4 was the best ever, right? This will bounce back. I am curious about the Democratic nomination. I haven't really seen Joe Biden lately. I don't know if he's out there. He probably doesn't make my social media feed, I guess. But it does look like there are two candidates that aren't on any ballots that I know of that are making noise, which is interesting given this late in the game. Cuomo from New York is apparently getting all the rage with his direct honesty with what's going on. And then I'm hearing more and more people talk about Mark Cuban, given that he's been out in front of this talking about some, different ways to tackle this. So it's going to be interesting if Joe Biden just floats away and they go a different direction. So interesting. Did you see that T-Mobile and Sprint's merger closed today? I had actually forgotten about it. It is announced in April of 2018. That's almost 2 full years. Actually, it is 2 full years, right? It's April now. Jeez, gosh. 2 years to close this. It's all about 5G. 2 years to close this deal. Crazy. I guess they were kind of committed and they couldn't back out, but kind of crazy. Another article talking about gold. I don't know if you saw this. One more monopoly. It's funny. So another investor came out, another billionaire came out and said the Americans or investors should have 10% of their dollars in gold. Again, all these self-fulfilling prophecies. Where were you, 2 years ago when stocks are at an all-time high? It's always interesting how they pile on at the end. I still hear people having problems getting physical silver or physical gold. I think the whole ETF market, SLV and GLD, I think it is. I don't trust the paper market. I trust the physical market. And last I heard, the physical market's broken, right? There's no supply. And there's the large gap between what the ETF is valuing an ounce at and physical. So something's broken. Mortgage apps came out. Again, these numbers are going to be all over the board. Mortgage apps sunk 24%. Refis were up. They were up 168% year on year, 26% month or week on week. But purchase volume was down 24% year on year. And this is going to continue. I keep telling you, buyers, nobody's going to sign up for, at least very few will sign up for a new mortgage in this kind of environment. So it's going to be interesting. I saw an interview from Dollar Tree CEO that kind of spooked me a little bit. He tried to calm, his shoppers down, but I don't think he did a very good job of it. He highlighted that the supply chain is stretched, that their shelves are getting empty in hours, but kept saying more stuff's coming, more stuff's coming. So I think it's pretty clear that the supply chain of goods is stretched. Again, we're staying home, we're making more meals, we're doing more things. So nobody was ready for this. So it's interesting, and yeah, we're going to be different coming out of this for sure. We're going to be making more stuff in the United States. So it is interesting. What's this question? I own a couple of ounces of each that I bought when I was a much younger investor. But no, I don't have a big holding of silver or gold, was the question. Looks like Xerox ended its hostile takeover of HP. Shocking. I think HP is going to come to regret not agreeing to that. Although their computer sales are probably going up. That's an unexpected benefit for hardware in PCs and chips, is all this work from home. A lot of people buying the new PCs because of the integrated cameras. So that's been a plus. Auto sales down. First number I saw was from Fiat Chrysler, down 10.4%. Again, these numbers are going to get ugly, almost depression era in my opinion. I've been right a lot lately, just kind of seeing things coming, kind of days and sometimes weeks ahead. I still believe there's going to be there needs to be a national shutdown. Bill Gates talked about it yesterday in his 3-point plan. I don't know that we're going to get it at this point. I think we're already covering 75% of the people, if that was what was said earlier. At this point, if you don't lock it down soon, you're kind of playing Switzerland with the rest of the U.S. So it'll be interesting. And what I mean by that is, if you haven't followed Switzerland, they're not shutting down. They did close schools and bring kids home, but they're doing herd mentality. So interesting. Oh, you don't trust Gates? Okay. I thought his TED Talk from 3 years ago was interesting. I just watched that a couple of days ago. Nailed it. But I think we're missing the window for the national shutdown. I do like the idea of an infrastructure bill. That is something coming out of this. The first I heard of it was from the president. Mark Cuban talked about it again, and I'm starting to see it in the news today. I think that is going to be something that lands near the end of this, right? We're going to have unemployment at ridiculous levels. And one of the things coming out of this is, hey, we're going to do a national infrastructure bill, $2, $3, $4 trillion, get America back to work kind of mindset. And it's going to work. It's going to have both parties on board, and it's going to be one of those things that gets us chugging again into 2021. And then it's another thing that's going to bring inflation. It just is. I mean, the outcome of this event is we're printing money, and we are going to have inflation in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah, probably right. The other thing coming up is the ISM number came out today. Not really relevant, frankly. It was better than expected, but what I pulled from it is deflation. There's actually deflation in prices paid. A lot of this has to do with oil. A lot of this has to do with demand shrinking. But there's deflation in the system, and that's what happens when you yank out supply and you yank out demand. The supply just swells and prices come down. So very interesting times in the manufacturing sector. Again, I think that will be short-lived. But yeah, if you look at the numbers today, deflation is a real problem. And the fact that interest rates are at zero or basically zero is the right answer. So it is going to be interesting. I do think, there's a lot of people talking about a phase 4 of kind of a help of consumers. Good luck on your offer. There's talk about a phase 4 bill, right? Phase 3 was 2.2. What I think the right answer is, let's focus on getting the money and infrastructure out of phase 3. We are now in April. The money shows up in April, so people are whole for April. Let's make sure that money is spent wisely. We are mortgaging our future here. Our kids or grandkids will have to pay for this. So let's not waste that opportunity. Let's focus on that first. And if we need to do another bill, let's talk about that around the 15th or 20th. I think talking about a fourth one today is distracting on execution of the third one. So again, let me know what you think about Q2. I think it's going to be the most exciting quarter for us to watch. I think it'll be one we remember. It is going to be interesting. Again, I just think it's going to be interesting. And I'll be talking to you every day. If you're still watching and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe, that little bell. We do these daily live streams every morning, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Even when I'm sick, even on birthdays and Christmas. And we'll just keep having fun together. All right, everybody, take care. Bye. Good luck.